Hello, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we have a review of a fairly new product that has been making the rounds, the Arrtx set of 72 watercolor pencils. They come in this beautiful box here. Now mine did arrive dented because Amazon tends to throw these in bubble mailers. These were sent to me for review from Arrtx, just like most of the other reviews you're seeing out there. So I just want to put that out there because if you're kind of chasing that, looking for the perfect this or that, and you're seeing all these tempting things online, please keep in mind that most of the people reviewing these products have been sent them for free. I have in this case, and I just want people to realize that it's not normal to have so many different options for watercolor pencils. If you buy one budget brand of watercolor pencils, they're going to be very similar to other budget brands of watercolor pencils. They've gotten pretty good, but I just want to put that right out front of the video, so if the want monster is trying to get out of its cage, you can kind of put it back in there for a bit. But anyway, these are the Arrtx set of 72 watercolor pencils. The top of the box lifts off like that. There are little stays or stops in the box there to keep it from like crushing the pencils. It will stop when it hits that ledge. And this does act not only as the packaging that's sold in, but also storage option for you if you like that. Some people like to put their watercolor pencils in cases. I kind of like this, but honestly, I tend to put my stuff in jars by like arranged by color, but this works. This would work fine for sitting it on my desk upstairs or working on the coffee table or whatnot. But kind of keep that your packaging needs in mind and your storage needs in mind when you're buying one of these sets, because you're going to find virtually identical pencils from different brands in cases or tins or in just a plain box. And a lot of times the pricing is different because of the packaging that it comes in. So keep that in mind when you're shopping, so that you can hopefully avoid having to buy extra storage or pay for storage that you're not going to use, basically. So this is kind of an innovative little accordion type stand. This also comes with a brush, and I've already washed the sizing out of it. It's right here. It looks a lot like a Princeton Neptune, and it does have those very absorbent black hairs, which I do not think is the best choice for watercolor pencils. And I think if you use this brush with these pencils, you're going to be pretty disappointed because it's just, in my opinion, too soft of a brush for this type of media. But it does come with a kit. I would take it out of the kit and I would put it with your watercolors and go get something like a golden Taklon brush for these pencils, because it's going to behave, they're going to behave a lot better with a brush like this. They also sent me the sketchbook, this little sketchbook. I thought it was like 3x4. It's actually more like almost 4 by 5.5. I did this little illustration in here with the pencils, and that's on my YouTube channel if you want to go take a look at that. Everything worked fine. It also comes with a swatch card, which is nice. You don't have to make your own. And so I colored in the entire box, and then I liquefied the bottom half. And I didn't do this on camera because I was sitting upstairs at the coffee table on the couch working with this one day, kind of making as much, trying to get as much done before the holidays, basically. And yeah, the colors are nice and vibrant. I had no problem dissolving them. I used a water brush though, because it was just more convenient sitting in the living room, and a water brush has a stiffer bristle, so you may be disappointed using this one, but I'll show you this and the brush that I recommend, just so you can kind of see. But I was kind of curious about these pencils because they felt very familiar, and I was wondering if they were similar to some other budget watercolor pencils that I have that I do like. And so I actually pulled them out and I swatched out similar colors in Arrtx, this is what we're reviewing today, and Artistro. And because they did remind me a lot of the Artistros, but kind of swatching them out right one after the other and adding water, I thought they'd all be pretty much identical. I found that the Arrtx was better than Arteza. It dissolved better, but Artisto rather, dissolved better than the Arrtx, and it was actually cheaper, and it comes in a tin if that's something that you were more interested in. But I've also grabbed those tins out here as well, just so that we can compare them, and hopefully that'll help you decide if you're kind of trying to figure out what you want. Now I have to say that I think I have a newer version of the Arteza pencils here. I had the original Arteza watercolor pencils, and I think they were better. And I think they've kind of gone down in quality over the years. And that's something else I want to bring up with budget supplies, and not to knock them, because I think there's a lot of really good ones and I think they've gotten better and better. However, sometimes after a product comes out and gets popular, the quality declines. Either they find a cheaper manufacturer to do it, or maybe the import costs increase, so they skimp back on some materials to make the output input costs be the same. So I just wanted to put that out there, that whenever you're looking at a review online for any of these budget products, make sure you go to Amazon and look at most recent reviews, because if something has changed, then you'll see it. And I've experienced that, where I bought a product because the reviews look great, and then I get my product in the mail and I use it and it's absolute garbage. And it's like, these cannot be the same pencils that somebody else was using. I'm just looking at the results, like swatching them out, and they're not the same. I had that issue with the Amazon Basics pencils. And I left a review because I wanted the next person that's thinking about buying these to know what's up. So just kind of keep that in mind too. And that's why I'm a little bit leery about reviewing more budget products, just because the quality can change. And a lot of times the companies don't even realize it that are selling the products. There was a set of watercolors I bought from Doodlehog on Amazon because the price was so good. I'm like, well, even for the tin, I need another tin. So even if the paint's not good, I'll keep it for the tin. The paint was all right. But then, and that was a 48 set. Then I got a 36 set from the same company, and those paints were fabulous. And so I emailed the company to ask what was up. How come the 36 set is so good and the 48 set is just meh? And they had no idea there was anything different between the 36 and the 48 set. So, you know, it is kind of the Wild West out there, and I just want to make sure you know what you're getting into. And if you've already bought one set of budget pencils, I wouldn't keep chasing the budget pencils. I think you're better off to use up what you have for the budget pencils and then invest in higher quality going forward, if you can afford it. But if you're getting a pencil at a time, it does make it much more affordable. The thing is, okay, I know I'm just on a rant here and I apologize, but the thing is, I see so many people buy so many different budget sets that after you've bought, if you buy one budget set, and the budget sets aren't that cheap anymore. I was just looking online. This set is going for $37.99. For $40, you could get a set of like 24 Albrecht Dürer pencils, or you could get 30 Supracolor pencils from Caran Dasche. You could get a smaller amount of a better quality pencil, but with watercolor pencils, they dissolve and blend so well, you don't need 72 colors. So I just want to put that out there. Instead of thinking that I'm going to get this big set of 72 for $40, think, okay, that's $40. That's real money. What could I get if I, saved up maybe over the cost of a couple tins of pencils and bought what I actually really wanted? And there'll be more pigment. They'll last longer. I just want to put it out there. Not knocking the budget brands. I think they're doing some really great, innovative things, but anyway, I just want to make sure you're using your money wisely and you get supplies that are going to, stand the test of time. Now, these colors are great. There's nothing wrong with these colors, but comparatively, the Arrtx pencils, which I think are my budget pick, my best bang for your buck as far as a watercolor pencil, they're on sale for $22.99. The regular price is $40 for 72, but I see them like 50% off, 30% off. They're on sale all the time. So right now there's an extra 10% off, so they're more like $21 for 72. And then you're getting around half the price of the Arrtx. Now the Arrtx had a 15% off promotion. I'm not sure if that's still on or not, but I thought the Arrtx dissolved a little bit better. But we'll compare it a little bit more in depth. And then Arrtx is $35 for 72, or sometimes they go on sale. Like right now, there's a limited time deal where they're $30. But I definitely think the Arrtx and Arrtx right now are better pencils. So here are the swatch, like I said. But I want to do some kind of, I guess, real-time swatching with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab just a color at random. This is, let's see, I don't know what the color's called. Every color has a number on it. The colors have names, but the names are only on the swatch cards. The names are not on the barrel. The barrels are lacquered the entire way, which I like that better than just having the end, because then I can quickly see what I have. And I think the match is pretty okay. There was nothing glaring. Like if I'm looking at colors, I can look at the lacquered barrel and get a good idea of what I want. There is a number, but let's just see. Is it the same number on every barrel? Yes, they all have the same number here. They all have the same code there, but then there's another barcode that is different. So I don't know if they're thinking about offering a open stock option in the future, or if it's just internal code. Oftentimes, with these pencil companies, they'll start off with a smaller set and they'll go to a bigger set. They'll offer a bigger set in a few months. They did that with their colored pencils. Now I really like their colored pencils. Their colored pencils are very soft, very similar to Prismacolor, but they're not as pigmented. They're not as opaque, but they are very soft and very, very blendable. If you're going to use them on white paper, I don't think you're going to have any issues whatsoever. I'm just going to pull a few colors and swatch them here. I'm not using a lot of pressure, but I am lightening up as I go out. I just want to get some good patches of color, and then we'll compare with some of those similar brands. Watercolor pencils can be used in a variety of different ways, from doing an entire painting with them to just using them for sketching and then allowing your watercolor paint to go over them, and then they kind of dissolve in and you don't have lines. So there's a lot of really great ways to use it. I've seen some artists use them as a sketching underneath an acrylic painting, so that's another thing you can do. Alright, so the brush that came with it, it's a nice brush. It's got a beautiful point on it. It's just not the best for this case, in my opinion. Now, they do dissolve pretty well. I mean, it dissolves pretty well, but these brushes bring in a lot of water. So if you have a brush with the golden bristles, you're going to have a little bit more of an intense color because it's not going to be adding so much water to the mix. Can you see how, like, you can almost see, you don't see a puddle, you more see like a thicker application of color. I brought in probably a little too much water with that one. But I mean, it definitely does the job. The other brush that came with it will do the job. It's just not my personal preference. Alright, so they dissolve pretty well. I'm not seeing a lot of grain. This is cold pressed paper. It's the paper I swatch a lot of things on. It just gives me a little bit of a more consistent ability. So now I'm going to do the Arrtx because that's one I think they're the closest to. And you know what? They could even be coming out of the same factories. I'm not sure. I'm just going to try to color this the exact same way. This one feels, the Arrtx feel a little bit drier. And they come in a tin with trays. Let's see, we need a purpley color. They're not going to be exact matches. Let's see, you've got kind of a reddish brown color. A pinky red color. I do like this better than the tins with all the trays, personally, because it's just easier to see everything. But, you know, that's where you kind of let your own personal, preferences guide. I hope I'm doing these pretty much the same. I need like kind of a teal color. Maybe this one. And let me just label these. Arrtx does some really cool stuff with the packaging. I'm going to use their brush first to dissolve. Yep, Arrtx dissolved really well. I think I did the top two with this brush. I just feel like the Arrtx are more vibrant. Ooh, that's a pretty color. And you can even go with, like, Arrtx offers a 48 set, where Arrtx only has a 72 set. So you could go with a smaller set and save a little bit of money, save more money, and then, you know, since they are watercolor pencils, they do mix really well. More water there. Not the same color purple, but you get the idea. And then finally, let's look at Arrtx and see how that compares. I'll compare the swatches too, so you can see what each of these sets have. This is the 120 set of Arrtx. But again, this was an older set. It's from, oh gosh, I'm thinking like 2019, 2020. So it's, I don't know, I'm kind of nervous about going by the older stuff just because I just don't know how it may have changed. I'll start with this color here. Actually, this might be more like this color. I'm gonna get kind of a garnety. And this also has the trays that you lift out. We need a teal color. We need a purpley color. I think actually maybe this one. Is this riveting or what? I want to do a few colors because that way if I was wrong, if I was off on my first little swatch there, I'll be able to see. Need a nice bright green color. They all feel about the same, but I don't find pencils to vary, like watercolor pencils to vary that much in feel. And if you have had experience with these pencils and you want to share in the comments, please do. I just want to make sure I'm being fair. Alright, again, we're going to start off with the brush that came with the Arrtx. And this one, I'm seeing like debris, like the grain left behind, and it's much weaker than the other two. This is the Arrtx here. In fact, let me just write that down real quick. Now, I definitely don't want to be gatekeeping like supplies or acting like, oh, you should only get the professional stuff. No, I don't think that at all. But I just want to make sure that you're getting what's going to meet your needs and you're not buying the same thing 4 times thinking, well, this budget one wasn't it, but maybe the next one is. That's actually a pretty bright color, but I'm still not dissolving all the color. It's not all coming. It's not all coming out. I just want to make sure you're getting, having a realistic expectation about what the pencils are, so that you can make the best choices. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of grain here that's not dissolving as well. This yellow is actually doing pretty well. But yeah, much more grain on the Arrtx than the others. Now I do have the watercolor pencils I actually use the most are, I don't know if you consider them a budget brand or not, but they are a craft brand anyway. They're from the company Spectrum Noir. But I do have a few other brands in my little pencils over here, so I'm just going to drag that over. This is what I just have on my desk all the time. And let's see, I have, let's do, this is a Spectrum Aqua Blend in the color Grapefruit. I use this one a lot. I really like these. These are, I don't know how popular they are. They came out a few years ago, and they were, I think they were pretty popular when they came out, but you just don't hear about people using them anymore, so I don't know. I think they're kind of hard to find. And like a box of 24 would be more like $30 to $40 or $25 to $40 depending on how much they were on sale for. So they're definitely more expensive compared to these budget ones. So we'll put Spectrum Noir. I want to do some Albright Drewer. I would say those are probably my favorite, the Albright Drewer ones. I have a full set of those. I just have some random ones in here from, I got a good deal on at a stamp show once. They had like a, they had a small like bag, they had like a bag of 36 and they were cheap. And I'm like, I will grab those for backups. Oh, and I've got some Supracolor here by Caran Dasche. I don't have any of their museum aquarelles. Those are their artist grade. These are their, I don't know what you call the Supracolor, if you call them a student grade or a craft grade or just not the, you know, super high end. Get a red of the Albright Drewer up here. These do feel softer. I got that super. I don't have too many Supracolors. I bought a few open stock. There's a yellow one. Oh, here's a red one. Oh, I think I got a green one in here. So not exactly color matching, but we can get the idea anyway. All right, so let's. Well, you know what we can use just to be super fair. We'll go with a softer brush. Spectrum Noir. These dissolve very well, and these are older than the other ones that I have too. So I think that says something, you know, that they're that old and they dissolve that well. They haven't dried out or anything. And these are paler colors too, and they still are very vibrant. So that's Spectrum Noir. They come in, oh, the nice thing about Spectrum Noir is that they come in sets of 24, but they don't have open stock, unfortunately, but they have like 4 or 5 sets of 24, and there's no duplicates. So you can start with like the essentials, then you can get the floral, then you can get the portrait, then you can get the landscape, then you get the marine, or however they come, and there's no duplications. And they're very, and I use them a lot, and I haven't used any up. This is Albright Drewer. Dissolve really well, and I'm just using the that soft brush. Let's do a shadow there. Oh, look at that! Yeah, these are probably my favorites, but those are the ones I use the most. And then Caran Dasche Supracolor, I think, are a great option, and oftentimes they're about like a. Okay, I don't know if I don't trust quoting because when I bought them, it was quite a few years ago, but they weren't that much. I'm going to say maybe $2 a piece, but I don't even think they're that much. I'm thinking they're more like $1 a piece in bulk from like Blick or Merry Artist or wherever. I can't remember where I got them. I'm thinking Merry Artist, but anyway, very saturated. So this row here, I mean these two right here would be what I would consider they're from like legacy professional brands. Those are kind of light colors. I feel like that's not really a good fair assessment. I feel like I need to get some darker colors of this Spectrum Noir to be fair, so I'm just going to do that over here. That's a very pale color. The downside of the Spectrum Noir, they just have the end cap colored, and I prefer like a full body coloring. Sometimes we just like something even though it's not the best quality. Like Derwent Inktense, they're wonderful water-soluble pencils. Their regular watercolor pencils, though, I find to be quite weak, like weaker than the budget brands. So that's something to keep in mind. You know, get something that's going to. Is that the color that I used? I don't know. It might be. But you can feel the difference between the like nice and rich. Between the Albright Drewer and the Supracolor and then the budget ones. So, I mean, you definitely can get some good results and get some good colors from, like, Arrtx would be my pick, honestly. I know this was a review for Arrtx, but then, you know, you don't have to have a ton of colors of the more legacy brands to really get a lot of bang for your buck. So I just want to put that out there, give you a little bit of perspective. But anyway, let's look at the Arrtx color chart again so you can see what you can get for colors in the 72 set. And this is the color chart from the Arrtx, which I think is really well balanced. You've got a good amount of browns, you've got a good amount of you've got a lot of reds. If you like to do florals, I think the Arrtx one would be really nice for you. But they have a smaller set that would have fewer reds in it if that's what you were into. But very vibrant colors, a really well balanced color range. And remember, if you use any of these up, you can always individually buy these higher end pencils to replace the colors you use a lot of, which would be a really actually an excellent idea if you want to see if you like watercolor pencils, getting a budget set, and then as you start to use them down, you'll know what colors to buy, open stock from a better brand. And then Arrtx, this is what the Arrtx swatch looks like. This is 120 colors. I don't think it's as impressive. I really don't recommend them. I think they're kind of overpriced. They're kind of they're kind of going off their name these days, I believe. So out of the three, I'd go with Arrtx for a budget brand, and probably Albert Dürer for a professional brand. But you know, you have to look and see what the prices are where you live, because they can vary quite a bit, just, you know, just in certain locations. But anyway, I like the pencils. I like the way that they're packaged. I would be disappointed if I bought these with my own money and the box came dented, especially because I would use this for storage and I want it to look nice, especially if I was paying full price for them. So that's something to consider, you know, if you're shopping on Amazon. They do have their own shop, so maybe if you order from their store, it'll come a little bit better. They sent these to me. I don't know if it came from their Amazon warehouse or if it came from their shop, honestly. But it did come a little banged up. It didn't affect the quality of the pencils. None of the leads broke or anything, but it definitely, you know, it definitely would be something to think about if you're going to buy these. The sketchbook is nice. You have little perforated pages. These are in a pack of 2 for about like $22 right now, I think, which, honest, or $13.99 each, or around $13, between $13 and $14 each. But I think that's a bit high for a book this size. Paul Rubens has almost the same thing, just a landscape format, for like $8.99, and often I see that cheaper. But I have seen the prices ticking up on the Arrtx and Paul Rubens products, and I don't know if they're anticipating tariffs in the new year, so they're just trying to brace people for the price changes or what. But just to kind of give you a heads up, it does seem like their prices have been going up, and you need to weigh that. If you're going to buy a budget product, the price should reflect the quality. And although I think they're good, I think once the price starts going up, you really ought to be looking at what the professional brands have to offer, because you may not be spending any more money to get a much better product. But there you have it. I want to thank you so much for watching this review. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below in the comments. And as always, happy crafting!